Hi, another wee story here. This story's not so happy. It's a little bit sad in some respects. It's about a guy called Mocha Lin, and I've written a short story about this, which maybe you'll find someday, whoever you may be. So Mocha Lin was the local bully. Um, when I was in, I guess, fifth class, which is 1 year before you graduate from what we call the bun school or primary school, there was a bully in the sixth grade, sixth class, who attacked the teacher actually quite viciously and hurt the teacher to the point that he got expelled. Quite notorious. Anyway, about a year later, my brother and I were at school practice down what we call the Three Fields behind Morning Star School in Ballyfihan there. And this was the early 70s. And we were getting ready, putting our clothes on, putting our football boots and that on. And these football boots were pretty, they were solid. They had very tough kind of leathery, strong old boots. When Mocha Lin and his cronies showed up and picked on my brother, John, and they were picking him up, tossing him in the air and kicking him as he came down. I was about 15 yards or so from this whole business as this sort of transpired. I had just put my football boots on and I was a skinny runt of a little kid. Anyway, whatever came over me, I literally jumped up and I ran like a bullet, and I was fast. I was one of the fastest runners in Cork City at the time. And I hit Mocha Lin like a bullet and knocked him down. And when he went down, I caught him by the hair and I kicked and kicked and kicked his bloody head in. Vicious stuff, terrible. I was driven. Long story short, the fury abated and I ran off while Mocha bull like a crazy. But he's a big kid now, he was big. And I ran towards the centre of the football field where our teacher was, who was actually coming towards the melee. And I stood behind him as Mocha Lin came towards him, and the teacher just turned and said, "Jared, you need to run as fast as you can." Anyway, I ran to my grandparents' house, which was close by, with Mocha Lin screaming, "I'm going to kill you, you're dead, you're dead." For months anyway, I was lived in fear of Mocha Lin finding me. He was looking for me, and I'd come out of school every day cautiously, and I would run like the wind in either direction, depending which way he was going. Oftentimes I had to go right around instead of going home. I would go right around, or I'd go to my grandparents. After a number of months of this, Gary, my father, decided to go talk to Mocha Lin's father. So he went up to the house, knocked on the door, and excuse me, and this gentleman came out, rough looking man, and my father said, "Excuse me, I'd like to talk to you about your son Michael. He's been threatening my son's life." Well, this gentleman roared like a bull and said, "Michael, come out here." And Michael was about 5'10". He was a big kid. Father's about 5'10". And as soon as Michael approached the door, the father turned and punched him right in the face, leveled Michael on the ground. He gave him a good few kicks. And he said, "This man tells me you've been bullying his son. Stop it. Stop it." And he turned to my father and said, "That'll be it. That'll be taken care of," and closed the door. My poor father was speechless. It turns out that Mocha Lin's father was probably abusive, had been in jail, and of course shortly afterwards Mocha Lin followed his father into jail. But it was a very, very stark difference between my life and the love that I had from my parents and what Mocha Lin, God rest him, he's probably dead now is my guess, experienced. But again, there was probably violence, there was alcohol, all kinds of abuse in that family. It's a sad tale, but it's true. It is a true tale. And that was probably the early 70s in Ballyfihan as I effectively graduated from primary school. That's it.